Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I know March Madness is here. There's going to be some games coming on today, but we got a lot of hockey news to discuss before you go ahead with your early March Madness day. So make sure that you stay tuned in to this episode until the end. And before we go ahead and get started, make sure to like and subscribe to the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast YouTube channel. And also follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We are with you guys every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast and the latest hockey news going around the league. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the NHL news for today. We'll start things off with the Hudson River rivalry matchup on Wednesday between the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers, and it will be the New Jersey Devils taking down their Metro Division rivals, New York Rangers, with a 6-3 win at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday. And with the win, New Jersey improves to 35-31-2 of the season. They're 7-2-0 in their past 9 games. And fun fact, both of the Devils games against the Rangers have resulted in a 6-3 win. They have one more game between the two teams, and that'll be on March 31st at Madison Square Garden. We'll see who comes out with the win. Right there, probably could be the New Jersey Devils, considering the Rangers' home record this season. So could most likely be New Jersey, and they're the better team than New York Rangers. They're 5-0-1 in their past 6 regular season games against the Rangers. And Jack Hughes, he loves playing against the Rangers. The Olympic gold medalist for Team USA, scored that golden goal in overtime. Loves coming to Madison Square Garden and playing the Rangers in general. He had a goal and 2 assists for a 3-point night. Continues to dominate against the Rangers. He has 35 career points in 25 games against the Rangers, 20 goals, 15 assists for 35 career points in 25 games against the Rangers. He currently has a 14-game point streak against the Rangers dating all the way back to March 22nd of 2022, and he has 28 points during that span, 17 goals, 11 assists for 28 points during a 14-game point streak alone against the New York Rangers. And this is what Jack Hughes had to say on playing the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. I'm not sure if he joked about this or not. Kind of maybe was, but this is what he had to say about it. He said, playing here is always fun. Coming to the Garden, just unreal atmosphere, unreal rink, unreal fans. And there were a lot of Devils fans here tonight. So it's always fun coming here and playing. So I would probably say that's his favorite team to play against, because he always seems to rack up points against the Rangers. I think this probably may not be true or not, but this is from my perspective. Jack Hughes probably has more points against the Rangers. I'm probably just being delusional here, but probably from my perspective, he probably has more points against the Rangers than any other team he's played against. Like, I'm just saying that. That's probably not true. It may not be true, but it's just from my perspective and probably just me being delusional. He has 18 points in his past 11 games since returning from the 2026 Winter Olympics. 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points in his past 11 games since returning from the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, Italy. Connor Brown had a goal and 2 assists for a 3-point night. And then Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt each had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Nico Hischier notched his 195th career goal to pass Zach Parise for 5th most in Devils, Colorado Rockies, and Kansas City Scouts franchise history. They were called the Kansas City Scouts at first, then they moved to Colorado, came to Rockies, and then they moved to New Jersey and called themselves the Devils. For anybody that did not know that. And Jesper Bratt notched his 501st career point for the Devils in this one. Fifth player to score 500 points for the Devils. Of course, the other players to do it, the great Patrick Elias, John McLean, Travis Zajac, and Kirk Muller. Like I said, 501 career points in 620 NHL games, 166 goals, 335 assists, for 501 points in 620 career games played. Arseny Grishuk and Timo Miner scored the other goals for the Devils. Jacob Markstrom made 15 saves on 18 shots faced the net. And for the New York Rangers, Mika Zibanejad, Vladislav Garakov, and Connor Sheary scored for the Rangers, while Jonathan Quick made 33 saves on 39 shots faced the net. And after winning 4 in a row, the Rangers have sunken back to reality, losing 2 games at home, by the way. And they dropped to 28-32 in 8 of the season, and they're now 9-17-6 at home. What is going on with the New York Rangers? And last year they missed out on the playoffs after winning the President's Trophy prior to that season. And now this season they have just went all the way down to rock bottom. Come on. Rangers fans had to feel upset about that. And they had to even feel more upset that this team is not winning at home, because Madison Square Garden is one of the best arenas to go watch a sports game at, not just for hockey, but for any sports game in general. It's crazy to see that the Rangers aren't giving the fans this money's worth at Madison Square Garden with their horrible home performance. But anyways, not trying to diss the Rangers or nothing like that. But the Rangers will be in Columbus today to take on the CBJ, Columbus Blue Jackets, at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Devils continue their 5-game road trip in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., against the greatest goal scorer of all time, Alex Ovechkin, and the Capitals Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Well, let's move on to another Metro Division showdown. Pittsburgh Penguins, Carolina Hurricanes. Sean Walker scored the overtime game-winning goal in the Hurricanes' 6-5 overtime win over the Pittsburgh Penguins on Wednesday. Scored with 22 seconds remaining in OT. Scored on a one-timer from high in the left faceoff circle off the pass from Sebastian Aho for the overtime game-winning goal. And with the win, Carolina improves to 43-19-6 of the season. They currently lead the Penguins by 8 points for first place in the Metro Division, and the Buffalo Sabres by 2 points for first in the Eastern Conference. And the Hurricanes, they were playing a back-to-back set heading into this one, coming off a 5-1 loss to the CBJ Columbus Blue Jackets on Tuesday. And we all know where the Blue Jackets are at in the standings in the Eastern Conference. They're 1 point out of a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and they can catch the New York Islanders and they can catch the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have a game today against the Rangers, so that's going to be a huge 2 points up for grab for the Blue Jackets. We'll see if they can get the win over the Rangers in that one. But going back to this game, Keandre Miller, he had the game-tying goal for Carolina with 2 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the third period. And then Jackson Blake had a goal and 2 assists for a 3-point night. Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, and Jordan Martinook also scored for the Hurricanes. And Nikolai Ehlers finished with 3 assists, while Freddie Anderson made 30 saves on 35 shots, faced the net. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they get Sidney Crosby back in their lineup. Captain Canada is back for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is Sidney Crosby's first game back in the lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He missed the previous 11 games after sustaining a lower body injury during the second period of Canada's 4-3 overtime win over Czechia in the quarterfinals at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, Italy. That was on February 18th. And he didn't play in the semifinals or the gold medal game against USA. But he came back. He had a 2-point night. He had 1 goal, 1 assist. He had 4 shots on goal. and had 18 minutes and 33 seconds of time on ice. So not bad for Sid the Kid, one of the greatest players to ever play the game of hockey. A veteran presence, a leader for sure for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Erik Karlsson scored twice for Pittsburgh, also had an assist for a 3-point night. Brian Rust and Ben Kindle also scored for the Penguins, while Stuart Skinner made 38 saves on 42 shots faced in net. And the Penguins finished their 5-game road trip with a 2-1-2 record, and they dropped to 34-18-6 of the season. They lead the New York Islanders by 1 point for second in the Metro Division. But watch out for the Blue Jackets. Like I said, it's like this for the Metro. Hurricanes are first, obviously, in the Metro with 92 points. Then you got Pittsburgh with 84 points. The Islanders with 83 points. And then, of course, in the wild card spot, you got 2 Atlantic Division teams in the Boston Bruins and Detroit Red Wings. But then as you take a look at the first team that's outside the wild card spot picture and outside the playoff picture, it's the Blue Jackets with 81 points. And they won 2 in a row, looking to win 3 in a row, looking to get a huge 2 points against the Rangers in today's matchup, looking to jump over the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's close right there in the Metro spot and in the Eastern Conference in general. The Penguins will return home for a 3-game homestand against Jonathan Tage and the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will air on NHL Network for you guys to watch. The Hurricanes will start a 3-game road trip in Toronto against the Maple Leafs Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and this will air on NHL Network for you guys to watch. Let's move on to Orange County, Anaheim, California. Philadelphia Flyers, Anaheim Ducks. Noah Case scores the overtime game-winning goal in the Flyers' 3-2 overtime win over the Ducks on Wednesday. Scored 2 minutes and 17 seconds into overtime, and with the win, Philadelphia improves to 33-23-12 of the season. They're 3-0-1. They extend their point streak. Sorry, Mr. Track count got distracted by a notification, but the Flyers extend their point streak to 4 games in which they are 3-0-1 during the span. And Luke Grandetti and Owen Tippett scored for the Flyers in this one. Dan Vidar made 34 saves on 36 shots faced in net. And Trevor Zegras, this is the big storyline of the game. He made his return to Anaheim. First game back in Orange County since being traded to the Flyers on June 23rd, 2025. 1 shot on goal in this one in 18 minutes and 27 seconds of time on ice. Finished with a +1 rating, so that's not too bad. Trevor Zegras spent 5 seasons with the Anaheim Ducks, was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks in the 2019 NHL Draft. And in those 5 seasons with the Ducks, he had 186 points in 268 career games, 67 goals, 6-7, 119 assists for 186 points in 268 career games with the Anaheim Ducks. And as we saw in 2022, 2023, he was doing a lot of Michigan lacrosse-style goals during that time. And I think 2021 as well, because I think he had the Michigan pass over the net, and then Sonny Milano batted it in. I think that was in 2021. So between 2021 and 2023, we saw Trevor Zegras doing all these Michigan lacrosse-style goals and making all these Michigan plays during his time on the Anaheim Ducks. Hoping to still see that with the Philadelphia Flyers, though. We'll just have to see how everything will go, but he was a creative player for sure. He still is a creative stick handling player now, but during his time on the Anaheim Ducks, he was way, way, way better. But hopefully he brings some of that creativity, and he will. He's going to. He hasn't pulled off a Michigan goal yet for the Philadelphia Flyers, but he's going to. I just know in my mind that Trevor Zegras is going to pull off a Michigan goal for the Philadelphia Flyers. May even can teach Matvei Michkov to do it, because I think I saw Matvei Michkov had a Michigan goal in like a Russia Hockey League, or like he had an attempt. Well, I think in the NHL he had an attempt to do a Michigan goal, but I know for sure it was a Russia Hockey League he was in, and he had a Michigan goal in that one, and I think he was trying to pull it off in the NHL. Hasn't done it yet, but he will. He and Trevor Zegras will make a lot of creative plays for the Philadelphia Flyers. For the Anaheim Ducks, Carter Gauthier, the Flyers' most hated NHL player. He had a goal in this one, goal and assist for 2.9. Leo Carlson also scored for the Ducks. And Lucas Dostal made 24 saves on 27 shots, faced the net. And Anaheim has lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they dropped to 37, 27, and 4 of the season. They will be in Salt Lake City to face the Utah Mammoth on Friday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Meanwhile, the Flyers continue their West Coast California trip in L.A. against the Kings Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Well, let's get into some interesting and exciting news. Ice hockey will be coming back to Memphis in the Mid-South. This was an article I saw on the Daily Memphian. There will be a new minor league team set to begin play at the Landis Center in South Haven, Mississippi, marking the return of pro hockey to the Memphis area. The team is expected to begin play in late October 2026, and they're trying to bring hockey back to Memphis. And from what I was told, they had hockey in Memphis before with the Memphis River Kings from 1992 to 2019. I think they played in Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum from 1992 to 2000, and then in 2000 they moved to Mississippi. They were still the River Kings. They were still the Memphis River Kings when they moved to Mississippi. And then I think in 2007 they changed their name to the Mississippi River Kings. So they were there before. They were playing in the SPHL, which stands for Southern Professional Hockey League, before being disbanded in 2019. They suspended operations in 2019, and they weren't a team anymore. But they are bringing a minor league team back, and I'm very excited about that, to see hockey back in Memphis, and just in places where you normally don't see hockey. And this is coming from somebody that's lived up north. I love to see the game of hockey grow. I love to see more people getting into hockey. I love to see it be more diverse, have people from all different backgrounds playing the sport. I love to see it in places where you normally don't see hockey. And I know the South is not known for hockey, particularly Memphis is not known for hockey. So this could be a challenge, but hopefully it works out well. I'm hoping that it will work out well in the end for Memphis, for Memphians, and they can go to hockey games. They can go back to hockey games in the Mid-South. Because like I said, the River Kings were here before. The River Kings were in Memphis before, I should say. They were in Memphis before, from 1992. If you count them from being Memphis and the Mississippi River Kings, they were here from 1992 all the way to 2019. That's 27 years. That is 27 years that the River Kings have been in the Memphis and Mid-South area. That's 2 decades, like nearly 2 decades, nearly 2 decades, or I should even say almost 3 decades, I would say. Almost 3 decades that the River Kings have been here, in Memphis and the Mid-South. I don't know why I keep saying here, but almost 3 decades that the River Kings have been in Memphis and the Mid-South, and I'm excited to see a minor league team coming back, especially, like I said, in places where you normally don't see hockey at. And Memphis is known for football, basketball. Of course, you got March Madness here, and it's going to be a lot of people watching and talking about that. And then they got the Memphis Grizzlies here, which used to be called the Vancouver Grizzlies. So, yeah, and hockey is just not popular in Memphis, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's not popular in Memphis. But I'm hoping with new minor league team coming to Memphis, it will be popular, and just like the River Kings was. And it will be a lot of attendance at the games. It will be a lot of ticket sales at the game. It will be sold out at the Landis Center for these hockey games. Wherever the team name might be. They might bring back the River Kings as the team name. Who knows? Or they might just take this on a brand new play. They might bring in, like, they might call themselves the Memphis or Mississippi, since they'll be playing at Landis Center, which is in South Haven. They might call themselves the Mississippi Rank Rats, or Mississippi Eagles, Mississippi Buckeyes, if they don't bring back the River Kings. They might just start it all new, have new logos, new brands, new color names, new color schemes, stuff like that. But nonetheless, I'm very excited for it. And like I said, it's all about growing the game. It's all about growing the game of hockey. That's what it's all about. And putting it in places where you normally don't see hockey. I'm hoping everybody, or most of everybody, will come to these games. They'll get into the sport. They say, like, hey, I've been to this game, this hockey game in Memphis, and it was very interesting. And just having new people be in the sport. And I think Memphis had another hockey team called the Memphis Wings, which is a funny name, by the way. But they were also a hockey team in Memphis. They were from 1964 to 1967. So Memphis did have hockey before, and now it is coming back to Memphis and the Mid-South. And University of Memphis had a club hockey team before. That's what I was told. Like I said, I have some friends that are from Memphis, Nashville, people that I talk to. Since they know I'm a huge hockey fan and I'm passionate about hockey and all into hockey, they told me that there was hockey here in Memphis. And I just wrote some notes about that on my podcast to talk about that to you guys. But yeah, they had the Memphis Wings from 1964 to 1967. So there was hockey here in Memphis before. And University of Memphis had a club hockey team before. And unfortunately, they don't now. Ole Miss. You guys know my content I do for Ole Miss. If you've been subscribed to the TG Hockey channel, I know I have not been uploading on there recently. But we'll try to upload some more hockey content and vlogs and Ole Miss stuff on there soon. You guys know my content at Ole Miss. Ole Miss Rebels has a club hockey team. Mississippi State, they are bringing back their club hockey team for the first time since COVID. They had a hockey team before COVID, and because of COVID, they suspended their team, and now they're going to be looking to bring it back and probably playing some of their games in like Mississippi. We'll just have to see how that will go, but nonetheless, I'm excited to see this back in Memphis, wherever the team may be, whether they bring back the River Kings, whether they bring back the Memphis Wings, whether they bring back a whole new team. I'm just excited to see hockey in the Mid-South area, in Memphis, once again, growing the game, what it's all about. If you're a Memphian listening to this podcast, or if you know somebody that's from Memphis, ask them what are their thoughts on the hockey coming back to Memphis. And I'll put the Daily Memphian article link in the description for you guys to take a look at yourselves. But that's what I saw, and one of my teachers told me about it, and one of my friends told me about hockey coming back to Memphis. Like I said, I have people I know that's from Memphis, and they know I like hockey. And that's how I knew about it. But anyways, other games from the Wednesday slate, other NHL games from the Wednesday slate. Capitals take down the Ottawa Senators 4-1. Alex Ovechkin with his 922nd career NHL goal, and I believe that's his 999th career goal if you include regular season and playoffs. And Cole Hudson scored his first career NHL goal in this one. That was Anthony Netter, signed an entry-level contract with the Washington Capitals. Stars take down the Avalanche in the Central Division Showdown, 2-1 shootout win. Wyatt Johnson with the shootout game-winning goal. And then the Flames take down the Blues in the shootout, 2-1. Joe Farabee with the shootout game-winning goal. Now let's go to the NHL games on the slate for today. There's 11 NHL games on the slate for today, starting with the Winnipeg Jets and the Boston Bruins at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, followed by New York Islanders taking on the Ottawa Senators at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then we got an original six showdown in Motor City between the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then we got the New York Rangers taking on the CBJ Columbus Blue Jackets at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This is a really important game for the Blue Jackets as they are now 1 point out of a playoff spot and 2 points from tying the New York Islanders for third place in the Metro Division. So huge 2 points up for grabs for the Blue Jackets. They need a win tonight against New York Rangers. And then we got a Central Division showdown between Chicago Blackhawks and Minnesota Wild at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This will air on Hulu and ESPN Plus to watch. These two teams played on Tuesday, and it was the Wild, of course, winning 3-2 in overtime against the Chicago Blackhawks. And I think all these games between Minnesota and Chicago, the first 3 games between those two teams have all resulted in a 3-2 win for the Wild. I mean, not a 3-2 win, a 4-3 win. And they won 4-3 in overtime. So the scores have been the same throughout these 3 games so far. It's all been 4-3 wins for the Wild beyond regulation. On November 26th, they won in overtime in Chicago 4-3. On January 27th, 4-3 shootout win for the Wild. And I think the Blackhawks had a 3-0 lead in that game. And they choked it away, and they lost to the Wild in the shootout. And then the Wild, like I said, winning Tuesday in overtime 4-3. And then they played today for their final regular season meeting. The Blackhawks have not won against the Wild since 2019. That was the last win against the Minnesota Wild. I think the Wild have a 18-19 game point streak against the Blackhawks. It's just crazy. Hoping, fingers crossed, we bounce back from Tuesday's game. They defeated us in our home barn. We're going to defeat them in their home barn. They defeated us in our home barn. We're going to go into the state of hockey, St. Paul, Minnesota, and we're going to defeat them in their home barn. I'm hoping that's the case. I have my fingers crossed because the majority of my brain is telling me that this is going to be another Minnesota Wild win. But a small percent of me is saying, hopefully the Blackhawks can get it done. We'll just have to see. And I did see Nick Foligno's return to Chicago on Tuesday. He got a nice standing ovation, nice tribute. But we'll see what happens in this matchup between the Blackhawks and the Wild in St. Paul. And then we got Seattle Kraken taking on the Nashville Predators at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Nashville Predators back at home, coming off a shootout win over their Central Division rivals, Winnipeg Jets, back at home against Seattle Kraken. And fun fact, the Kraken actually got their first NHL win against the Nashville Predators. So looking to get both these teams looking for 2 points in this one because both these teams are near or in a playoff spot. The Predators are 2 points out of a playoff spot, and the Kraken hold that second wild card spot with 71 points. So huge 2 points up for grab for both of these teams. And then we got a Stanley Cup final rematch from 2024 and 2025 between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The only difference is so far in 2026 is that the Panthers are near the bottom of the Eastern Conference with a 33-31-3 record. Surprisingly, didn't expect them to be doing this terrible this year, but they were without Matthew Tkachuk for most of the games, and then they were without their captain, Alexander Barkov, for the whole season. But I thought they probably still do good or decent. But turns out I was wrong. But anyways, they have 69 points, and they're near the bottom of the Eastern Conference. And the Oilers are second in the Pacific Division with a 34-26-9 record with 77 points. They're 1 point ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights and 1 point below the Anaheim Ducks. So huge 2 points up for grabs for the Edmonton Oilers. For the Panthers, I don't know. This game doesn't mean nothing to them. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year, but we'll just have to see. I don't think they're going to make it in. And for the Oilers, this game has meaning because it is a huge 2 points for the Oilers as they are in a playoff spot. And the Oilers beat the Panthers 6-3 back on November 22nd. So this is their final regular season meeting. And then we got the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Vancouver Canucks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So one of the best teams in the NHL versus one of the worst teams in the NHL. So easy win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the top 10 teams in the NHL. There we got the Utah Mammoth taking on the VGK Vegas Golden Knights at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will air on Hulu and ESPN Plus for you guys to watch. And then we got the Buffalo Sabres taking on Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then to wrap up the 11-game slate, we got the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the LA Kings at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. That's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk TG Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube, and make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and then 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. Enjoy your March Madness Day. Enjoy the 11-game NHL slate. At least these March Madness games come on early. And then the NHL games start at 6 o'clock p.m. I may even watch a game or two before the NHL games for tonight. And hopefully you guys have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys all back here on Tuesday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Take care.